Rio Usumacinta through the Grand Canyon of the Maya offers one of the finest rafting trips in the world, with interesting wildlife, major Mayan ruins, stunning scenery, huge jungle beach camps, and fun rapids that include both big water class 3s that bob rafts up and down, as well as some fun waves for kayakers and side excursions with small drops. Rio Usumacinta straddles the border between Mexico and Guatemala, with a standard rafting trip covering 142 kilometers over about 6 to 7 days. Trips are based out of Palenque, Chiapas, a 3-hour drive from Frontera Corozal, the most common launching point. Participants on trips generally fly into Villahermosa, the closest major airport, located less than a 2-hour drive from Palenque. From Frontera, there's an initial 20-kilometer paddle on the big, flat jungle river that allows everyone to get used to the rafts, kayaks, and inflatable kayaks that they're paddling. Paddlers then arrive at the first major point of interest, the Mayan ruins of Yaxchilán, a major city in the classical period of the Maya that occupied a lollipop-shaped peninsula along the river. The ruins can only be accessed by boating down the river and are always a pleasure to walk through, starting with a dark, infested passageway that leads you out onto the main plaza. There are a number of incredible stela and ceiba trees in the main plaza of Yaxchilán. Then it's quite a hike up the stairs to the Acropolis, which has a statue of one of the great Mayan kings. Visits to the southern complex and small Acropolis involve hikes through the jungle, often with sightings of monkeys and interesting birds. About a dozen kilometers downstream of Yaxchilán, rapids start appearing on the Usumacinta and culminate in one called Chico Zapote, which can be considered class 2 to 3 depending on the water level and what type of craft you're tackling it in. It generally gives you some great roller coaster waves and sometimes a good splash, as well as offering a nice play spot for kayakers at some flows. From Chico Zapote, groups continue down to one of several huge beach camps. After a hike in the jungle to a pristine lagoon, some more small rapids, and or a stop to a broken cenote adjacent to the river that's fun to jump into, groups arrive to Piedras Negras camp where they usually spend a layover. After eating another delicious dinner prepared by the guides and a good night's sleep, group tours another major Mayan ruin here, which is rarely visited despite being one of the largest classical Mayan cities and perhaps the most important archaeological site that was instrumental in Tatiana Prosorikov's monumental breakthrough of deciphering the Mayan hieroglyphic code. The site remains mostly unrestored and undeveloped, with jungle vegetation covering most of the temples and structure, which adds to the charm of the locale. Many other hiking opportunities exist at Piedras Negras, and you'll almost certainly see some of the rambunctious local residents in the trees. After Piedras Negras, the river has a number of additional attractions, including a cluster of Class 2 rapids that are fun to navigate, before arriving to Cascada Busilha, a spring-fed stream that drops over two major travertine waterfalls directly into the Usumacinta. It's always nice to stop at Cascada Busilha, climb up to swim and bathe in the pools by the falls. A little farther downstream, the Rio Chocolha is another particularly fun side excursion for kayakers, with a number of Class 3 rapids and the small, runnable falls in the last kilometer before the confluence that can be paddled and hiked up to and run. After the Chocolha, Rio Usumacinta enters its main gorge that's also called the Gran Cañón de San Jose. In here you'll have to pass through the most challenging rapids on the river, though these are only Class 3 difficulty. The first major rapid is La Linea, a very fun one with a number of waves and swirling whirlpools and eddy lines that provide a good challenge for all types of boaters. It's named for its location at the border between Guatemala and Mexico on the right side. The final major rapids on the trip are a dual pair of San Josecito and San Jose. San Jose is similar to La Linea in some ways, but a bit longer, with slightly bigger waves, and a huge eddy on the right side feeding back into the drop. The San Jose Rapid is often the site of flips of inflatable kayaks and has nearly tipped over large rafts at times. But after a calmer section past San Jose and one smaller rapid, then you have about 15 kilometers of flat but beautiful river to paddle to the takeout at Boca del Cerro. After an Usumacinta trip, it's always nice to spend a day relaxing in the town of Palenque and also spending a few hours touring the well-restored archaeological zone of Palenque. After finishing your general tour here, we often will have a fun evening at El Panchan with a fine dinner, live music, dancing, and a fire show. It's also well worth spending another day visiting or paddling the pools and falls at Agua Azul. Overall, a raft trip to Rio Usumacinta is one of the most memorable and fun weeks one can have in life, and highly recommended for everyone, including families and first-time rafters.